Hey YouTube. So today I'm going to talk about Pisces and Aquarius compatibility. I had a special request from a Pisces. They wanted me to do this combination. So here we go. Okay, so an Aquarius is a sign that's all about humanitarian work and bringing the community together, bringing everybody together for the greater good. They're also spiritual, just like a Pisces. They're the sign before Pisces. They're the 11th sign, and they're also the ones that are very spiritual and about bringing everybody together in a positive light. With a Pisces and an Aquarius, think of Oprah and her boyfriend Stedman. They're not married, but they've been together for a long time. And maybe it's because Stedman gives her the freedom that she likes, because he understands, because a Pisces also likes their freedom as well. But with a Pisces, the only hard thing about that is Pisces can be more sensitive and they can express their emotions. And Aquariuses have a hard time expressing their emotions a little bit. They can express them, but sometimes it can come up to the short tempers, the anger a little bit. My brother's an Aquarius and my son is, so with them I can get into some heated arguments because I'm very sensitive and they're like right to the point. They're a little more aggressive than this little fish over here. And I can get very upset because they can be very blunt, and I can get really angry and it can go into an argument, but we understand each other and we forgive each other. So I can understand an Aquarius because of them needing the freedom and being introverted at times and giving them that space, because they do need that space a lot. Like I said, because they like to bring everybody together. They're the humanitarians. And from what I see, that Pisces would like about an Aquarius too is because they're very family oriented. They love their children and they're dedicated to their children. They provide for their children because they're very masculine. And I think a Pisces likes that about an Aquarius because they are very masculine, and it's can be tough because Aquarius is a fixed sign, Pisces is immutable. It's a lot of hard work. That combination, I think it can work. Like I said, Oprah and Stedman have done it for years, and I think it's because they give each other the freedom in this space, and they understand about wanting a commitment, but they also understand about being together and accepting one another. And they're both are going to like to deal with imagination and creativity, because both signs of course, we know Pisces and Aquarius as well. There's a lot of Aquarius celebrities. And like I said, Oprah was on television. Oprah has her own channel because they're very business savvy too. They're and I think a Pisces likes that too about them. They're hard workers and they're business savvy, and they are also creative. And I think that's what an Aquarius likes about Pisces is the creativity, imagination, and the humor. The Aquariuses I know are very, very funny and down to earth and very good friends. And they can make you laugh. You can cry with them, and they'll be there to comfort you. And because they're also very spiritual. They're also very spiritual, but like I said, they're into humanitarian work just as much as a Pisces. So that's where those two can come together, is the humanitarian work and bringing people together and family and the humor. All I can see with the weaknesses of that combination, the hard part is, like I said, Pisces is very sensitive and emotional, and Aquariuses can have a hard time getting their emotions out. Sometimes their emotions come out in anger, and the poor Pisces is trying to get those emotions out of the Aquarius, and the Aquarius might get a little angrier. If they do, those emotions come out so much that it can come out to anger, and they could say things that a Pisces might not want to hear, but later on they'll be like, oh, well, maybe he's right. Maybe, I might have to stop doing some of these things. But then they have to see what they do as well. And once you point it out to them, then they're okay. And once the Pisces and the Aquarius can get over the argument and come together into agreement, then they can be fine. But it's a really, really, really hard combination. But it can work. It's a lot of hard work you have to put into it. I think if you understand both sides, the emotional and sensitive side of the Pisces and the aggressive part of the Aquarius and how they do express emotions, they just express in a different way. And also Pisces can understand their rebellion, because Pisces has a little bit of rebellion and doesn't like authority so much themselves at times, even though they need it and they are submissive and they do like it, but they still don't like anybody to tell them what to do. And the Aquarius is the same way. They don't like to be told what to do, and they're very rebellious as well. And it goes into age, that little bit of rebellion they still like to do, which can be a treat to look at, and be around. But then it upsets you, because you be like, okay, now we got to follow the rules. You got to behave. You got to not say anything that comes out your mouth all the time, because the Pisces were reserved, and we can get like that, but then there's a time and a place, and then we have to stop. And sometimes Aquariuses, they don't care where they at or what they doing. They're still going to say what they mean and what they say. And you got to love them for that, because that's the sign they are. They're rebellious. They bring people together. They're humanitarians, and they're just as creative as themselves, very business savvy, very creative, very smart. They're next to the Scorpios that they say intellect, and then Pisces and Sag. I think Pisces the emotional intelligence, and Scorpio and Aquarius is up there for high intellect, is what I've done in my research. They say that those two signs are very smart in different ways. Just like a Pisces and a Sagittarius, we're up there too. Sagittarius is their intellect is different too, because they learn everything, they explore everything. So that's their different intellect. And a Pisces is the emotional intelligence, the psych, and so can be a Scorpio, the psychology, the psych. So with this combination, if you can understand each other, going into the relationship and being there for other people and having a partnership like that, being humanitarians, bringing the family together, bringing positive vibes. To me, they'd be good. They're good in sales. They're good at selling cars, real estate, because that's giving service to the community, what the community needs, and it still brings people together. Bringing the communities, transportation, anything sells is really good for the Aquarius. So Pisces too. Pisces is good at marketing and sales. So I think those two coming together makes a very good team. And Pisces is a tad bit more romantic, but an Aquarius can be romantic. They're just in a different way. For example, I've seen my brother and my son. My brother is very generous to the people that he's had in his relationships, and he gives them the kindness of his heart. He may be aggressive and say things that people don't want to hear, but he is very generous to the people that are in his life in the community. He is very generous. And my son too, that's how they express it. They express it in different ways. They're generous. They give you when you're in pain and hurt. They come to your aid when you're sick, and because they're of service as well. And like I said, they're very spiritual, just as much as a Pisces. Of course, Pisces is the most spiritual, but Aquarius is right next to Pisces. So they get it going. They start it, and then the Pisces goes along and ends. It keeps it, moving after that into the Aries season, which is spring right now, which goes into Easter. So it's when the Aquarius starts it. Well, really, it's the Sag starts it, the Capricorn, the Aquarius, the Pisces. So the Sag, since they are the learners, they started off for us, and they learned the philosophy because, their co-ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the expansion philosophy. And they get the wisdom out there and the learning. They started off, and then, well, actually, Scorpio really does start it off. Then Leo and Scorpio started off, then Sag. That's how it goes. And Pisces is the ending of it, the death into the rebirth. So, I guess when you think about it, yeah. And it's just like the Aquarius, not the Aquarius, I'm sorry, the Scorpio is right there is death. And then we have the Sagittarius, which after the death, you're learning about philosophy and spiritual. You're exploring through the countries and the people. And then you have Capricorn, which Capricorn is the hard workers, and they're the ones that get everything moving and going, and never sleeping. Like they're creating the creation. They're working on it. Then the Aquarius is going to be the one that's going to get you there spiritually. And we do have a lot of preachers that are Aquarius as well, because they start where they get you to really look at yourself and examine who you are, the deep too. They can get pretty deep when spiritually they're the ones that are actually God that's like talking. And then it's crazy because it's like the Aquarius really starts where you have to really look and see the truth. And then the Pisces is just Pisces is the ending of it to get you there. It's like Aquarius speaks the truth, and then the Pisces gets you there spiritually to understand, while the Pisces is still trying to understand, but the Pisces is the higher intellect of the spirituality, so they get it out there in communication as well. So I think that's why Aquarius and Pisces can come together. It's that creativity, spirituality, and getting that message out there. And that's how they can be in a relationship. Good humanitarians. Because I think Oprah's boyfriend, Stedman, that's a Pisces, he's a motivational speaker. And then we know with Oprah, she has a channel. She does Super Soul Sunday. She brings very inspiring people, and she brings everybody together for her reading club. So she brings everybody together for a cause, for a purpose. And that is what Aquariuses do, because they're also the humanitarians, like I said. So I think that's what the attraction is. And sexually, I think what brings those two together is creativity. The creativity between the two is what will mesh very well. And Aquarius would have to have a little bit of emotion, so Pisces will feel comfortable, or Pisces will give that emotion, or the Aquarius will help Pisces with that certain emotion and be creative with it if they're not as emotional, so, but as long as they're creative and they have ideas in the bed, then it'll work sexually. But other than that, I think with a lot of work, it can work, because like I said, you see Oprah and Stedman making it can work. It's just a lot of work, just like any other relationship, combination, compatibility. It still work in a relationship. So that's my take and research and on a Pisces and Aquarius compatibility. Bye, YouTube.